Welcome to another tech video, the last one of 2021. Wishing you all a very happy Christmas and hope you all have a great new year. So today we're going to be looking at an HP Pavilion 15.6 inch laptop. This one is slightly different. It's got a good CPU and supposedly comes in quite a nice blue colour. Okay, so to start off with, we'll get into the box itself. We're not expecting anything unusual in terms of the packaging. It should just be the standard HP packaging. Inside, we've got our power adapter in the right hand side here. So this is a 45 watt power brick. And then the packaging in the center section, the usual sort of clamshell hold it in type of cardboard packaging. Nothing unusual about this either. Let's just see if we can get that apart without tearing it. And then the usual disappointing plastic wrapper. It'd be nice if manufacturers can put this in a sort of cloth wrapper, but they don't on the laptops nowadays, it seems. Okay, so this is a nice blue plastic finish here. It's sort of got a grain effect, and then you can see here the sort of chrome effect HP cutout, which seems to be stuck on. That's a sticker on, and then on the back we've got a sort of fairly nice rounded indented back, which will act as a hinge, and on the bottom we've got our air intake. So let's open it up and have a look inside. So we do have a nice sort of clothy type of effect protecting the keyboard and screen. Now this is a 15.6 inch device. So the processor in here it's a Ryzen 5 4500U processor. So this is a hexa-core, and it standard speed is 2.3 gigahertz, but it's got a burst speed up to 4 gigahertz, which is good. Comes with 8 meg L3 cache. Inside the unit itself, in terms of memory, it comes with 8 gig of DDR4 running at 3200 megahertz. It comes with a 512 gigabyte SSD drive. And then let's have a look at the screen itself. So I'm going to just tip it back. There you can see me, but tip it back. So it's got a nice slim bezel all the way around. At the top here we've got our dual microphones, and we've got our HD webcam. So in terms of the webcam, I believe that this one is it's HD, so probably 720p, although we won't be able to find that out until we actually get the device powered up. As I mentioned, it's got a gloss effect screen because it's a touch screen. Personally, I prefer the non-gloss screens, the matte finish screens that aren't touch screen. It's got a fingerprint reader here. It has a backlit keyboard apparently. The screen itself is full HD 1920 by 1080p with a 250 nit brightness. While this is starting, what I'll do is I will get this connected and we can get it fired up. Purportedly it comes with Windows 11, so we'll have a look at that as well later and see what bloatware software comes bundled with it, if at all. But before we do that, let's just go around the device itself and have a look at the connectivity. So starting on this side, we've got our HDMI out, which I believe is HDMI, doesn't actually say, I think this is HDMI 1.4 potentially. And then we've got a single USB port. Now this USB port is USB 2, as it's a blue port there. However, next to that we've got our USB Type C port, which I believe is the potentially the 5 gigabit speed. And then next to that we've got an SD card reader, which is really useful for your mobile phones or your cameras or whatever. And then alongside here we've got combined headset jack, so it's a combined headphone and microphone jack. It takes a headset basically. And then on this side here we've got another USB 2 port, and we've got our power input. So there's no Ethernet adapter on this device. In terms of Wi-Fi connectivity, this is a Wi-Fi 5 device, and the price of this was £599 from Currys as of today. So we purchased this yesterday for a client. In terms of Bluetooth connectivity, this is Bluetooth 4.2, and let's have a look what we've got. So it's just HDMI output, no display port, but then we wouldn't expect a display port. Let's talk about the speakers. So purportedly this comes with Bang & Olufsen speakers, so it should be fairly good quality. Doesn't come with a CD-ROM obviously, and what else do we get with it? Battery life. Let's have a look at the battery life. So purportedly it's 6.5 hours. The dimensions of this are standard 15.6 inch laptop size with our touchpad here. It weighs in at quite a nice 1.75 kilos and comes with a 1-year warranty unless you extend that going forward. So what we can do is, let's see if we can
set up your device using a screen reader. Turn on narrator by pressing Windows and Control and Enter. For more
okay, we'll just silence that because that's quite an annoying voice. Okay, so once the device is all booted up, we can go ahead and finish off the installation of Windows 11. This does take around about 30 minutes, so make sure you've got adequate time. And as you can see here, we're just stepping through the process, and we're going to say we're going to connect. So we're going to connect. Going to click on next. Okay, so now we're going to go through and accept the relevant agreements. Okay, so if you don't have a Microsoft account and you don't want to have a Microsoft account, then there is a way that you can sign in or create an account locally. So in our instance, we're just going to type in admin as the username. Click on next, and then we're going to put anything in here. We click on sign in, and as you can see we get this, oops, something went wrong. Click on next, and then it gives you the ability to create an offline account. And then we enter our security questions. And that's, once the security questions are done, we can set up a fingerprint, which this isn't going to be for us, this is for a client. So we're going to say skip for now, and our client can do this if they choose to do so. So we're going to say yes to allowing Microsoft and apps to use our location. We're going to say no for Find My Device. Again, this will be only for a Microsoft account. I'm going to say required only for the diagnostic data. I'm going to say no for improved inking and typing. We're going to say yes to tailored experiences, and we're going to say yes to the advertising ID. I'm going to just click through this. Again, our client will register it against their details. And then we'll let this run through, getting its updates. And here we are booted into Windows at last. So, okay, so HP have gone for a black theme here. Normally, we have not seen a black theme from any manufacturers. This is the first black theme implementation that we've seen. So HP have done quite a good job. It looks quite nice. Let's go in, and before we do anything, we're going to have a look to see what's installed in terms of the bloatware. And we want to go into our settings and go into apps, and then apps and features, which is the top one. So we've got ExpressVPN that I saw there, everything else before that. So we've got a Dropbox promotion, ExpressVPN, all of the various HP software, which we can remove some of, McAfee LiveSafe, which we're going to remove, personal security we're going to remove, we're going to leave Office 365 installed, and really well done from HP to see that we've only got a single language for the UK here, which is the EN US version. So big thumbs up from us on that one, because I get fed up of having to come in and uninstall 4 other different languages. Moving down, we've got Minecraft, so we're going to remove that as well, although it won't actually be installed. It will just be a shortcut to download and install it. We are going to remove my HP because that throws up a whole load of nags. Everything else looks good. We're going to leave WebAdvisor by McAfee because that's useful when you're browsing the internet to check the reliability of the page that you're visiting. So all in all, not a huge amount of bloatware to remove on this machine. Yeah, a real thumbs up. So let's close that down and see the performance of the device. Let's go in and have a look at the system settings. So just open up your settings application. We're going to go into about, and that's going to give us all the information on this. As you can see here, running 2.38 gigahertz. As I mentioned, this boosts up to 4 gigahertz, and this is a hexacore. So this is a hexacore. What's that? 6 cores. So 6 cores, 12 threads. The reason we went for this processor with the 4500U was because of the boost, the turbo boost, because the 3500U processor doesn't boost anywhere near as much. I think that runs at 2 gigahertz with a boost up to 3. So we wanted to give this to our client to make sure that they're future proofed. And this, you know, it's a little bit more expensive, but on the whole, very, very impressive. Let's talk about the keyboard again quickly. So I mentioned earlier that this was a backlit keyboard. There is a version that is backlit keyboard. This version that we're looking at today does not have a backlit keyboard, although let's have a look to see. Okay, it is touchscreen, as I mentioned earlier. So just wanted to double check that to make sure I was giving you the right information. The screen itself is an IPS LCD. And I think I've pretty much covered everything else to do with this machine. So let's now go in, and before we start removing the software, let's just have a look at the webcam. So to do that, we're going to go into the camera application. We're just going to search for it. We're going to say yes to that, and here we are. This is me. Let's just double check to see what the settings are. So we always switch on HDR mode. And we're going to go in here. Okay, yep, so this is a 720p webcam, 0.9 megapixels, aspect ratio 16.9, and it records videos at 30 frames a second, so pretty much standard as you get nowadays. Everything else is standard for Windows 11. You get Teams bundled in, obviously. What we are going to do, we're going to go into our taskbar settings and go in and switch off the chat application, because our client does not want to be using that. So we're going to just leave that switched off. We're going to leave everything else as standard. We're going to leave it in the dark theme for them. We are going to add the icons to the desktop. So to do that, you want to go into right click on the desktop, go to personalize, scroll down to themes, and then click on desktop icon settings and tick the ones that you want. I don't know why Windows doesn't do this by default for any users that get created, and we're going to sort by the item type. So that's it. So I'm not sure if you can see the color. But let's move down a bit. The blue is a really nice finish. It's got a really nice sort of gravelly effect, grainy effect. It is plastic, but you know, it's to be expected. The blue colour, yep, really nice. Like it a lot. And as I mentioned, all in all, the finish of this is a good everyday computing laptop. So the next thing we want to have a look at is the sound quality. It's capable of playing some really good games, all the latest titles, but with a 1650
Let's turn it down a bit.
Quite adequately play a whole load of different games.
So I've turned that down to around about 30%, and let's go back and see if we can have a listen to some music. Obviously we've got to be careful of copyright, so let's just, we're not going to be able to play a whole song, but should be able to play a little snippet. So let's, how about Ed Sheeran? Okay, so sound quality is good. It's got a fairly rich sound, which is what we would want. Obviously you're not going to get real huge amount of bass through these speakers, but for a laptop it's got very good audio sound, so yeah, really pleased with that. So what's next for this laptop? So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and remove all of the bloatware, and then we're going to leave it running overnight just to make sure that everything works correctly before we take this and deliver it to our client. So if you found that video useful, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I just want to say cheers, happy Christmas, and wishing you all a very happy and successful 2022. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.